Yo there guys, this is Cob and this video is about patch 5.4 and how it's going to drastically change the Warlock playstyle. We've only got a few changes coming up, but they are big changes, and if you've seen the notes yourself, you're probably aware that they are basically nerfs all around. Alright, so the first change is to Fell Armor, and we are basically losing our 10% damage mitigation in place of a 10% increase to our health pool. This is actually a small nerf, as even though we have more health to soak up incoming damage, things like absorb shields and shield wall abilities are going to break easier and do less to keep us safe. Also, melee cleaves already give us a very hard time in the arena. This is a change that will have them foaming at the mouth. The next big change is the first and only buff to Warlocks in 5.4, and even though I'm disappointed with the patch so far, this is a really good change. We're getting our Howl of Terror back as a baseline ability, and this means we can choose either Shadow Fury, Coil, or the new ability Demonic Breath to use alongside Howl of Terror, which is great. And just for the record, I'll be using Shadow Fury in Battlegrounds and probably Mortal Coil in most arena games for anyone who was wondering at this point. This brings me to the next change, and that is the addition of the ability Demonic Breath to replace Howl of Terror. It's pretty much Shadow Flame for anyone who remembers that, applying a 50% snare on targets in a conal area of effect. This might be okay for other specs in some cases, but overall I can't see it outperforming either Shadow Fury or Coil, considering it deals no damage and most Warlock specs like Destro already have spells that can snare targets. Now for the change that has everyone talking. Kil'jaeden's Cunning is no longer a passive ability and is on a 1.5 minute cooldown. For Destruction in particular, this is a game-breaking change, considering that we are one of the only casters in the game that actually have to stand and cast a significant amount in PvP. With Kil'jaeden's Cunning gone, we have no mobility at all when going for damage. I don't think the spec will be completely sidelined in Arena as a result of this change, but we will be very limited in what comps we can play, in that we will need to stick to setups that can both peel melees off of us and lock down our kill targets. And pretty much the only comp that fits that description that I can think of is RLS. We can no longer kite, so we will need the rogue's peels, and we can't really throw damage into anyone who isn't stun locked. It's a pretty gimpage, it's definitely a worrying change, but I dare say it won't break us. We played without Kil'jaeden's Cunning early in Mr. Pandaria. I mean, a lot has changed since then, with damage nerfs to Chaos Bolt and melee cleaves now being more common in Arena. But we might be just okay with a bit of adapting, and it really depends on how the season develops. And don't get me wrong, by the way, I'm just as annoyed by this change as most of you guys are. Destruction was pretty much, or seemed to be, designed around this talent, and its removal just seems like insanity midway through an expansion. I'm pretty much just doing my best to stay constructive here. And the final change is a nerf to Manoroth's Fury. Like Kil'jaeden's Cunning, it will now have a 1.5 minute cooldown and is no longer passive. This strips away the need for Destruction Warlocks in dot cleave or spread pressure RBG setups, as we just won't be able to pump out the huge EE damage anymore. But I believe we will still have our place in RBG teams for bursting down single targets, as well as being secondary node defenders thanks to being a pet class. Anyways, all in all, it is not a good patch right now, to be honest. I really hope I haven't been too negative for you guys. I've tried to stay constructive and not overreact too much. Right now for me there are two comforting things, and one is that there is still time for these changes to be reverted. And secondly, at least us Destruction Warlocks won't be as weak as we were back in Cataclysm. So keep your chins up guys, we will see how things play out for now, but that's all it is for this video. Leave any thoughts you're having below about the changes in 5.4, and hopefully we can get some discussions going, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
No man. I'll just eat that.
I'm gonna full poly. Careful, man.
Shit, I'll try to stop it, man. He's popped a sentence going fucking meat on me, man. I'm dead.
Oh.
Dead.
Feed everything, no tremor, please. You just never. Chaos Bolt, you fucker. Oos. I've got decent amount of cooldowns actually. I might be able to do this. Fuck, I can't finish. Shadowbane, for Christ's sake, please! Yes!
Well, I'm just gonna
damn
go for
it.
a smite, man.
Okay.
2 minutes.